And just like that, I'm back in Boston. This time, I'm with my family. This series of vlog episodes carry a ton of importance in our family trip on all levels. At the same time, this whole opportunity draws so much excitement even just by the thought of us traveling to the city that we always wanted to see together. Here is day one of us exploring the historic side of downtown Boston. And here is another day, another vlog.
All through our public images, the talk radio program are rapidly becoming the highest entertainment broadcast station. The finished product, the great majority of cases, the most satisfactory program to listening viewpoints. Send the preparing program so that it will be entertaining and instructive.
So it's around a little past noon and we arrive in downtown Boston with a strong wind gust that makes a 30-degree weather seem like a downplay of what may just be a 10 to 20 degree-ish cold afternoon. Typical Boston weather, I would say.
At Gillette Stadium, but you can hardly see it right now because it's so foggy and so rainy out there. And Jacob, conditions are only going to deteriorate as this day goes on.
Yeah, we are picking up on the rain and the fog at the moment, and at some point through the midday, that actually changes over to some snow. Winds this evening, we could see those winds gusting 30 to 50 miles per hour.
Where we will start to notice more of the rain showers pushing in into the upper 30s to low mid 40s across much of the area. This will continue to push its way up the eastern seaboard and will continue to push its way in, bringing us that threat for that precipitation.
But hey, we're glad to be here, and we sure won't let the weather slow us down. Rain, snow, or shine. At least that's how I would phrase it. So we make our way to the Freedom Trail's Old North Church. The first part of our tour through the Freedom Trail takes us to 193 Salem Street in Boston's North End. The Old North Church, built in 1723, is Boston's oldest church and is best known for the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere.
Theodore Roosevelt has sat here once in December 25th in 1912.
And it's going to be starting in the back here. So if
Okay.
you have blue tickets, I know you guys do,
Yeah.
then you're welcome to make your way back.
Okay.
This visit to the church also includes an optional tour along the historic crypt, which is right underneath the church.
How many are there?
6.
Six. Okay. This is your, you have your 9. Oh, okay.
We're heading into the crypt tour.
It's just a tight little old rickety staircase, so take your time, all right?
It is said that over 1,100 bodies lie underneath the sanctuary.
Man. Man.
Still interrs the ashes of people.
The tour shares important facts on the burial practices of the early congregants, including those who have rested in their unique spaces for hundreds of years.
Now, it's not the first tomb that was built, but this was actually directly under the pulpit upstairs, that high pulpit that you saw. And this is Timothy Cutler. He would have been the first and longest standing minister from 1723 until 1765. John Pitcairn in front of us. He was a church member. He was part of the British Marines, actually. He was a major, maybe second or third in command after Thomas Gage. He was wounded on the way back from Lexington and Concord, and that he also led the third and final charge at Bunker Hill, where he was shot and killed. His son was also wounded and managed to carry him back down to the river, get him across in a boat, and back up here on shore, where at some point soon after own homes, when you have things that you don't want or you need places to stick stuff, where do they usually end up? Basement. Wonderful place for sticking goodies, okay? So what we're walking by here is the open tomb. Now this would have been open and dug out halfway. This is about half as deep as the tombs are. It's about 4 feet. They're all about 8 feet. They are in front of us and behind us, if you didn't notice. I know I'm talking about this wall mostly, but they're here and they're here. And so possibly upwards of a third of the people interred in here would be newborns to maybe 10 or 12-year-olds.
The church, located in Tremont Street, is founded in 1688 and today remains a Unitarian church accessible to churchgoers.
Hi, we're here for the guided tour.
Okay, great. You're the group of 6 that reserved?
Yes.
Perfect.
I thought he was a Puritan.
Huh?
I thought he was a Puritan.
Who?
This guy. John Winthrop.
John
the
Winthrop?
governor of-
What do you know about him?
He was the governor of Boston.
I always like to start talking with one of my favorite parts of the building, and the thing that I think is maybe the most unusual for most people walking in here, which are our box pews. These are definitely a family style of seating. Each family would have purchased their pew. It's how they did their donations or tithing to the church. So it was like an annual donation. Box pews are really common in England and in English colonies. They're common for about 300 years, from about mid-1500s to the mid-1800s. So if we were in the 1700s, after a funeral, if we were going to bring a coffin into the crypt, so we're gonna go through our hidden staircase.
Similar to our visit at the Old North Church, the tour also includes a visit to the old crypt, which is just right underneath it.
So if we had come in through our formal gate, we would have come in through that door back there. So from the outside, what looks like that.
Like a dungeon.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Have today. The coffins were very simple.
Yeah.
I always this looks like kind of like Dracula,
Yeah.
right? It's very simple construction. These were purchased just from a carpenter, no specialty work, and right, that's very simple. It just was not a custom or a tradition in colonial America to have a fancy coffin. Even if you could afford it, no one did. So after somebody had died, which is usually at the home, you know, people didn't die in hospitals or things like that usually, the body would be washed and prepared by family members, and you were put inside. The coffin would have been packed with either hay or pine sometimes, like we have in here, depending on the season, and there would have been a cotton mattress put on the bottom. Then they would have had what's called a viewing, so kind of like a modern day wake, a time period at your home where people could come say goodbye, and there would be a food would have been provided. And this temporary lid was just for the viewing, and instead of being solid like this, it would have had a big circle of glass in the middle so that people could see the person inside, but it wasn't like open. Because glass was so expensive, the lid that had the glass was reusable, and it would have been used for multiple different coffins. You rented it. For an Anglican family like King's Chapel, you would have then been brought to church for your funeral. After the funeral service, they would take off the lid with the glass, put one on that was solid, nail it shut. If it was during the summer, they would have then coated the coffin in pitch or pine tar, which is what they used to make ships watertight. So it made the coffin watertight. Then you would have walked out the front door. They would have carried the coffin all the way around the back, in through that door, and it would have been placed inside one of these tombs. And then head straight ahead when you get up there.
I highly recommend this tour if you're in town and revisiting the city's rich history is something that interests you. I may suggest though planning and getting tickets ahead online, since the volume of guests may vary depending on the days and times available. The third and final stop of the day takes us to the corner of State and Washington Streets. Built in 1713, the Old State House is known to be the oldest public building in Boston. So much history can be said about the building, one of which is how it was a center of political life and commerce for the majority of the 17th and 18th centuries. Also, during July 18, 1776, this was the site of the first public reading of the Declaration of Independence in Boston. This building has endured the possible ruins left by time and war, withstanding Boston Massacre, Revolution, and fire, and continues to stand as the oldest surviving public building in Boston.
Oh my god, what just happened?
It's not sticking right.
Saan iniwan?
Maganda yun, ugal yun.
Oh, I like the galleon.
Dad! Dad!
XB. How much are for the gift?
The one at the top. The boat? Yeah, the boat. The boat. The ship. Mom, you want this instead? What's that, spyglass?
No, it's a decipher.
Oh, wow. What's that? I didn't know you're such an intellectual. Deciphering. Parang cute. Gusto ko siya.
How much are for those?
Frustrated ako, pirate.
We have the Boston Tea Party.
What is this? Does this look like Benjamin Franklin to you? Oh yeah, it makes sense because the key in the crate, but this looks like some strange man in the 1700s. The But that does not look like Benjamin
It
Franklin.
doesn't look like it's not historically accurate.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
No. Oh
It
man.
looks like kind of cool here.
You're gonna use it to write in school.
Well,
Wait, is that even a pencil?
Yeah, it is. It's a ball pen.
Oh, it's a ball pen. Oh, try it on.
Okay.
It looks good on you, man.
Yeah, thanks.
I recall this day not only for how we revisited history, but also how I get to capture the moment when Nathan and my mother get to experience their first snowfall.
What do you think about your first snow in Boston?
I think I have enough snow for this winter season.
Amazing.
First snow.
Wow, very happy. My entire life. Moving in the snow. How do you feel, Nathaniel?
I feel great.
Great.
Go. Do I have snow on my face?
Yeah.
This is my first snowfall, by the way.
Oh really? So we need to have that celebratory dance then.
Man, it's so good to be back here in Boston.